Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Weekly Wave. We're going to go ahead and jump into the ASR. Please keep in mind it closes on July 1st. I know everyone should be checking their parent-teacher conference days, professional days, snow days, holidays, and transportation. And that can be found, the transportation piece can be found in your student view. Also, continue to check for missing students. So if anything changes, you could have a student pop in there. So be sure to check that area. Alt Ed student view, we need you to continue to verify your students that are listed under the Alt Ed section are correct. If you have some that are not, there is an online data entry that you can go in and make those corrections. You'll just need to request that you have access to that through OSDE. You can contact us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov, or you can reach out to State Aid. Either one of us can open that up for you. The instructions for the online data entry have been posted, so you'll know how to make changes to your Alt Ed. So there is also still a note section that if you put a note in there, it's going to email State Aid automatically. And State Aid can be reached at state.aid@sde.ok.gov, or you can reach out to Lori at 405-522-0139 or Mitzi at 405-522-0120. This is something that we're seeing an issue with. The ASR and exit codes that we had requested be updated on your ASR. The annual or the ASR window is now serving as data validation review for process for students exit related date for 2020 or 21-22. Because of this, it's imperative that you update the exit codes and dates in your local SIS and then confirm that they're displaying on the enrollments tab in accountability reporting for any student. They'll also display on your ASR. The students that we're concerned with are your graduated students that have an exit reason of 1921. And also any student that left before the last day of school on your school calendar, the parent withdrew them, or, you know, they left. They could be letting you know the last day of school, we're going to a different district. You'll need to update those codes as well. On the enrollment tab, I guess, in accountability reporting. Students that have that complete the school year and you've left those exit codes blank, they're either null or blank null, or they're the 9999 exit codes. We will automatically update those on our side to 3505, which is finishing out the year. So just keep that in mind. If your data is not correct, you'll need to correct it in your local SIS right now. And just note, in conjunction with ensuring the data accuracy within the certified ASR, it also serves as that data verification process for the student level exit related data prior to the school year of 21-22 reporting. Requests for changes to the student's exit code or dates will not be considered if it's not updated now. It won't be considered except for instances where a student's exit status changed after the last day of school and you receive a records request during the summer. So when that window is open, you'll have to provide that documentation to make those changes going forward. And to support this review, please refer to the ASR exit codes and dates guidance tool, or you can email accountability@sde.ok.gov. Lori, is there anything that you'd like to address about the ASR before I continue?
What I want, okay, so this is a few things. First things. If you call, please do not call back to back to back if I'm not answering, or if someone's not answering, just please leave a voicemail or send an email, because I think my brain is fried. I promise, if I'm not on the phone, I will answer your call, but if I'm on the phone, it's like, I can't get off the phone, to answer it. We got that. So just be patient if you're trying to get something done, because I think this is one of the more extremely busy ASRs that I've had. On the other thing, whenever you do enter your exit codes, for you to be able, after you've entered them and you want to check them, go to reporting tools and go to the student view report, so you can make sure that your seniors have exit codes that they're sending, and make sure that they're sending the 1921 and not the 3505. I'm catching several districts who are entering 3505 instead of 1921. I really think that that's all I have. I'm having a rough day. I can't figure out anything today. So
Okay.
that's
Well,
it.
All right, thank you for that. We're going to move on to the chronic absentee medical exemptions report. Keep in mind, this closes on June 30th. And you have to have a district admin user for students' absent records so they can be amended. So you're going to need to fill out the survey at the link below to identify who that district admin user is. Now, when we're done with this call, and in the past calls that we've had this slide up, this link is accessible on previous wave calls, and it'll be accessible on this one when we're done. So if you need that link, you're going to have the local exemption committee, and that they're going to meet and approve or deny for absences that are medically exempt based. Local board policy and supporting documentation. Then there's going to be a site user, which they use the CA medical exemption window process to submit requests and upload the committee's approved absences and documentation for each student. And that district admin user is going to review the request and supporting documentation for each student's medical exempt absence to approve or deny. So your admin user must be different than your site user. So keep that in mind. Also, what's open is the post-secondary opportunities report. It's in the accountability reporting application. It replaces the post-secondary opportunities report that used to be located on the wave in the prior years. So if you're going to the wave, you're going to the wrong place. So what you need to do there, it's in the single sign-on, the accountability reporting application. You're going to need to access that and check the coursework tab to make sure that you're submitting grades using these steps. And they're outlined in this image below. So from the student data, you're going to click the coursework tab and then click the flat file icon at the top of the spreadsheet. Keep in mind, this report closes on 6/31, but there's more information on posting this. So clicking the flat file expands the spreadsheet to show all courses for each student. This table also allows you to check that your local SIS is sending grades. If grades are not showing up, please contact your vendor and work with them, because they should be showing up at this point. Transfers. Okay, districts can, right now you can start extending the existing transfers that are in your system. You'll be able to do that for the month of May. So keep in mind that any transfers that are not completely finalized by June 30th, they will be deleted and the parents will have to reapply. Just because you can extend them doesn't mean you have to. Just keep that in mind. And you'll need to report your capacity numbers 15 days prior to any quarter, and 15 days, you'll have that 30-day window, 50 days prior to the quarter and 50 days after the start of a quarter. So that's going to be June 15th to probably around July 15th. Virtual district transfers. All virtual district entries must have a virtual transfer started on them. This ensures that we can meet statutory requirements to ensure that district's mobility in and out of virtual charters is no more than 2 into a virtual charter school per year. This law was effective on July 1st of 2021. So that needs to be done as well. Our PEB report, the information for that is available in accountability reporting data for school year 2021 and 2022. Reviewing and correcting the data for 2022 will save you a lot of time if you do it now. And that would be, you can review it in accountability reporting, but you'll need to make the changes in your SIS so it will flow back into accountability reporting. The DVR process for the 2021 school is coming soon. And once that's completed, we'll work with the others within the agency to determine when 21-22 DVR will be available for your data correction. So it would be, like I said, in your best interest to review your 22 data and make those corrections now, because it will eliminate you having to go in and do the DVR process later, and they can be made in your SIS right now. Rollover for next year, 22-23. We will be taking the wave down July 11th through the 22nd. That's a Friday, and it'll be back up on the 25th. So prior to you doing a SIF agent rollover, you do need to put your zone to sleep. And if you're having issues doing that, you need to either reach out to your vendor or you can contact us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov for assistance. Medium instruction for next year. For some reason, I'm getting feedback. So each section in your system should identify and include the students based upon the type of instruction they're receiving. So this means you might have, or you should have, if you're doing a virtual class and brick and mortar, you're going to have a section, 2 sections for the same class, one that identifies virtual and one that identifies brick and mortar. So make sure you're checking your sections now to make sure they're already set up that way. And if you have any questions, you can always email us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. Or if you want to reference our documents and guides, they're located on the SDE website under student information, documents and guides. And I might also mention right now, we're also rather busy with calls and emails, and I'm trying to answer the phone as best I can. And I know Cody's doing it all he can to answer your emails. So I ask that you just be patient with us as we get to your information. That is all that I have. Is there any questions out there? And I don't know, Eric, if you've been answering them as they've come in. On the ASR, Ladina's asking on the ASR, where is the template to upload our numbers in? I am on the final report, but do not have a template to use.
Nancy, this is Mitzi. I answered that. We
okay. All right.
We removed the comparison tab during the F2SR. So you can just use the final report, or you can go to reporting tools and download your summary report and put them side by side.
Okay, and I think, did you also answer Margaret's?
Yes. When you run the Alt-Ed student view report under reporting tools, it brings all the data.
Okay. Sherry Johnson, we have to wait until everyone has completed their state reports before we can exit our students. Is that correct? No, you need to exit your students, Sherry, in your system now, so they will flow to your ASR. As far as seniors and any student that has left your district. Now, the ones that are going to roll over, you don't have to do anything with those. But your seniors and your students that have gone to other districts, those need to be in your system now. Barbara's asking if Mitzi, if you've answered any other these, let me know. Is asking if a site is confirmed in the ASR, will it push data into the accountability reports?
Nancy, I can answer that. This is Karen Monk.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, the information that you see in the ASR should be matching what is in the accountability app. And if it's not, there's a problem.
Well, one thing, Karen, when they confirm their ASR, it no longer, it kind of locks that data down. So if they're putting other data in there, I mean, for the ASR, it locks it down. It should just lock down the accountability reporting too, I would think, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that because.
And one area that I found, this is Barbara. I found a student in accountability where the basis of admission was incorrect. So I've corrected that in the SIS, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to see where that is in the ASR. I don't know. So if I corrected that basis of admission, would it pull into accountability?
Yes, it should. Yes, okay. I will confirm it. And if it's anything different, I will let you know. But yes, because whatever you put in your local SIS goes into WAVE, and that feeds into the accountability app. And that will be all the way until June 30th. Now, then it rolls over. So I would think that it would update.
The only thing it won't update, Barbara, is it's not going to do anything on the ASR if you've confirmed it. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
And I'll double check on the ASR.
Okay.
That it's correct as well, but I just kind of want to make sure on that.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Karen, Karen, does the accountability report update overnight?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what the ASR does.
And if you're not seeing updates, then the information is not coming to us, and that's where we ask that you start with your vendor.
Okay, and that's whenever. So back to whenever I talked about the ASR. So I think what the districts need to do is make sure before they confirm their sites is to check the reporting tools in the student view report and make sure that they're showing there, and then go look on accountability and make sure they're showing there to make sure everything is accurate.
Yes, ma'am, because they should match.
Yes, they should. If they don't match, we got bigger problems, but
right.
I don't see. So, okay, thank you. Someone asked me if it updated overnight, and I was like, I don't know. So thank you.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, well, Jill's asking about the extension report and what to do with 12th graders that have already graduated. Just don't do anything with them, Jill. They will actually be taken removed from the system. I think on June the 30th. Anything that's not done is going to be removed. So you don't have to deny them. If you just leave any of your transfers in there and don't approve or deny, they're just going to be removed. And Grace is asking on the open transfer extension, will there be an option to deny a student because they graduated? And I think that would answer your question there too. Just leave those seniors in there and they'll be removed. Debbie's asking for the 2023 school year. Will we code all transfers as open transfers, or will there be a new code? They will all be open transfers. So you won't have emergency or anything transfers. They're just all open transfers now, Debbie. And let's see. Mona's asking, will we have these meetings weekly during summer? We intend to, unless something's going on and we have another obligation, we'll have the meetings, but we'll let you know if it's been canceled, Mona. And Chris is asking, he won't know for sure who all isn't returning to our virtual charter next year by the time I have to finish our ASR. Is there a problem with me leaving a blank code effectively 3505, later changing to 1908, 3502, or whatever they learn over the summer. So if you don't have the information on the last day of school, that would be a situation where an exception where you would be able to do a DVR if you don't have the information. So I hope that answers your question, Chris. And that is all the questions for now. Anybody have any other ones? If not, I'm going to go ahead and we'll call it a day, and so you can get back to your ASRs. And if you need any help, please reach out to student data info or our state aid department, and we'd be more than happy to help.
Hey, Nancy.
Yes.
This is Mindy with Bixby, and our sites are getting things for the enrollment tab under accountability, that they're to go in there and to handle the kids in there for the exit codes and different things. But it was confusing to us because we're doing it pulling from our SIF to make sure that we're saying that this 1908 matches up with whatever exit comment it is, any nulls, any blanks, no 99, 99s, we got all that information from the state. But when they're getting that and telling them they need to go in there and do that in there, when I look at it, it's all students that are like a 1907 that would have been a 1907 that transfer from one side in the district to another, like our virtual kids that come back to brick and mortar. And so they're just sitting on there. You obviously can't do anything with them. And they're thinking they're errors for a lot of these different kids on a 1909 and 1908 and so forth. And so I got a hold of Lisa at Accountability, and she was looking into it and said, you don't have to worry about that with ASR and that, because I was wondering if they correlated, because we started looking at those things. And I think there's just I don't know if it's a miscommunication between the sites and the information they're getting, because we never got anything that said we needed to go to the enrollment tab and do that. So we weren't, and we shouldn't. After she looked, she said that's just the information that's in there is everything for the next year. You can't manipulate it. It's just something that you fix for in the fall, like we typically would in those reports. So I don't know if anybody else has seen that, but I did get confirmation on that, because I didn't know they were even going in there and looking at that, but they did send me what the state had sent them, and it was to go in there and mess with those kids and their exit codes.
So is that in accountability reporting?
Yes. It's in accountability under the school and student data. You go to the enrollment tab.
Okay.
Is this that email that was sent to the districts, just letting them know what we're seeing on our side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that was just so people could match up and see if they had the same thing. If they have 3 kids who are 1907, it was just so that they could compare numbers and make sure that what we're seeing is what you're reporting. That's all that was, is just to confirm.
Yeah, I think they were confused on that, because that's the only piece of data they got for like our high school principals and so forth. And they knew that the exit code stuff was coming. So they're like, well, I can't change anything. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about that. So then I looked in, just made sure I contacted them to make sure we weren't missing something in regards to that. But it wasn't anything we could change in there. It's just, this is what we're seeing. And they didn't know that. They thought they needed to go in and go, okay, this is what we're seeing, so you need to make some changes. And I'm like, well, you can't make changes in there. I have to do it from the SIS. And ours is correct. That was the thing, is I figured it would clear off if that's the issue, because they are correct. But Lisa stated that they would stay on there, and we would just note that in the fall when it opened.
Well, and if there is a conflict, like we had some schools who showed no graduates, no 1921s, but yet they were seeing that in their local SIS. And so that would be, in that instance, that district or that school would need to contact the local SIS, because it means it's not reporting into the wave the correct way, which means it's not feeding into the accountability app correctly. Does that make sense? So what we're seeing is, I mean, this is what will be reported. So if it is different, you really need to start with your local SIS and have them troubleshoot. And then after they've done everything they can, then we need to be made aware so that we can make sure the information is matching.
Okay, because like some of those will be like a 1909, which means they went out of state. And the state's saying, hey, there's no subsequent enrollment for this. And ours clearly went to, like, let's say Texas. It says to the school for the exit comment, which is correct. That's the correct exit code. I look in their transfer info data. Everything matches. Everything lines up to anything that could be an issue. But I'm like, well, how would you know if they went to another state that there's an issue? Because we're only gathering within the state. So I have a bunch of them. I can't say that's all the 1909s, but there's a bunch. And there's not an issue, but that's why I'm wondering how they're on this report, because how would you know if they didn't show up to another state? It doesn't say, hey, anything in here is, if they went to another school here that was public, we'd know in the wave. If it was something else, usually get a record request or so forth. And a lot of these kids do have those on there for this 1909, but that's why we're like, okay, what is the issue here? Because these are all errors that really aren't errors, I'm assuming.
Well, 1909, that you will have the opportunity to fix that in the fall to upload supporting documentation. But it's probably, we probably need to just talk and look at the data. I'm afraid to get too into the weeds because it may confuse other people. And it's really and truly, I encourage you guys to call the office and talk to our staff so that we can look at your data and answer specifically to you and your needs.
I did. I mean, I talked to Lisa and she confirmed it, that those were
Lisa's
those
good.
ones that would just, they're not really errors, but they would be on there just to put in verification in the fall. That's what I was
Good.
stating.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if there's anybody else on this call that is having some questions, it's always better safe than sorry. And we do not mind you calling us because that's what we're here for.
Okay, anything else? All right, then we all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will talk to you next week.